So obviously, Mark, the last time we sat down and had a chat, I think it was about 12 months ago. Safe to say a lot has happened on and off the field in that time. So I was just looking back on the past 12 months, and indeed our first season in the Women's National League at Shelbourne Football Club. How would you review it all?
Yeah, a lot has happened, as you said, in 12 months. It has flown by, but at the same time a huge amount of stuff has happened. Obviously, the big thing was the merger is now complete. We got the first season out of the way. That was always going to be difficult. There was no problems as such, but these things always take time to gel together, bringing two groups of players together, and behind the scenes, people that hadn't worked together before. So that was one of the good things to get out of the way in the first season. So some players have come and gone in the first season. Some things have happened on and off the field that made things like that happen. And overall, I think we were very happy by the end of the season. How things happened was we said we just wanted to win and compete. I think we would have said last year, start to build towards trying to be a good force within this league. So we're happy we competed, and in the end, found ourselves in the mix and almost pulled off a real fairy tale with the league itself. Managed to win a couple along the way, and narrowly missed out on the other two as well. So to compete on all four fronts in the first season, we take that all day long.
So you did, like you said there, Mark, that like a lot did happen on the field, but a lot happened off it as well. Can you tell us, say, that a lot of people kind of was wondering what happened with the coaching setup at the halfway point?
Yeah, it was like I mentioned there, getting things to gel was always going to be difficult, and that was probably harder behind the scenes. And Casey was given a huge job to pull this off in the first year, to manage players he was already working with, and bring in players from Shelbourne, and then there was some new faces as well added to the group. Casey worked around the clock to get everything happen. To go back to even what I mentioned with the merger would never have happened without Casey McQuillan. Casey was huge in that because he was on the Raheny side of things, and he felt it was right for football, and it was right for our players, and it was right for Dublin 5 to get one big club together. And Raheny needed a youth system, and Casey realised that. He had took a couple of players from Shelbourne in the previous years, Kiva Keenan, Jamie Finn and Amanda McQuillan were the first to go, and he saw the talent that was there, and he knew he would need to keep taking that talent through to continue. So Casey's vision was that this was the right thing, this had to happen, and he done the right thing to make it happen. He didn't want to stay on the Raheny side, so he fought for it to happen, and without him we wouldn't have. Behind the scenes then, I was Casey's assistant when we met this time last year. It was just myself, it was Casey, with the two lads to help us with the strength and conditioning. But as things transpired, Casey was working around the clock, making things happen, competing on all fronts, a lot of pressure on him. And in the end, probably we were too thin on the ground for coaching, because in the end, Casey decided things weren't going well, and he decided to take a step back from it, and he put himself in the role of director of football with the club, and which is important to us. We didn't want to lose Casey at that point. It was selfish what he'd done. Anyone else might have stuck it out to the end of the season and said there was only a few games left, I'll take it home. He felt by him stepping away that things could be salvaged as such, and my initial reaction was to go with him. I was Casey's assistant, things weren't working, and I'd go with him. But he totally encouraged me to stay, try and make it happen. And that we needed someone on the inside that knew the players no matter who came in to try and keep things going. So I have huge admiration for Casey for doing that, because he put everyone before himself. And for us, we were very happy to maintain him as a director of football and keep our youth system strong and bring our players through continually. And behind the scenes, he's been a huge supporter of the National League level. It's great to see him around all the time helping us out. So I think it was a win-win in the end, but it wasn't easy at the time. So Casey's departure was unfortunate, but it was great to maintain him in the club. And like I said, we wouldn't be where we are. There would not be a Shelbourne Women's National League without Casey, and we certainly wouldn't have been successful in last season, winning the cup or anything if it wasn't for Casey. It's his squad, it was his players. So it worked out well in the end, but it was tough times there off the field as well, and I really felt for Casey, because it was hard for him.
So as you make, Casey left his coaching role mid-season around the March time, but at that time, like I said, you had to bring in somebody. But so we brought in Owen Heary, who's a club legend from the men's side, and someone else, Gordon.
Yeah, like I said, Casey encouraged me to stay on, and it was important to do that, he felt. So I knew obviously the first thing was couldn't do this alone. And I found that as time was going on, I was probably more of a manager than a coach, which was developing for me. So I immediately knew I needed coaches. And I was blessed that Gordon and Owen were already with the club, working with the seniors, two vastly experienced people. Obviously, you mentioned Owen is a legend. He's, for his, Shelbourne through and through, and he's got into the coaching and the managing and being successful there. He sort of treaded water at the time with us with Shelton. We were happy to have him. And when I turned to Gordon and Owen, they didn't hesitate. They immediately said they were there to support me, and they came in straight away and took over the coaching and everything. So they started trying to get things going again and motivate the players. My job was to get them to believe we could still pull something off by the end of the season. And we almost did. We got a good final. We were happy with that, and we took the league from out of nowhere to a playoff. And like we said, we didn't get a fairy tale, but we got close. And that was down to Gordon and Owen really pulling things together in a short space and making things happen. In the dressing room, the lads were excellent. On the training ground, they were brilliant, and it kind of left me to kind of manage things. That's why it's important to say I felt afterwards, in hindsight, it was too thin on the ground for Casey. It was just Casey and myself, and it was too hard. I wasn't enough for him, and there wasn't enough around us, so I found it out the hard way, unfortunately.